Time once told me your sole error was loving too much, trusting too much. And I wore those words like a burden for years. I folded my heart up in tinier and tinier folds, trying to shield what I believed to be my worst failing. And then one day, while in the silence after another disappointment, time once more uttered a heart open to all is not weak, it is unbreakable. And then all the pieces began to fit together. Ask me, have you ever loved with all that you are, given someone your trust in its entirety, only to find yourself afterwards wondering if that willingness has somehow been foolish? Perhaps you've lain awake reliving moments when you thought to yourself, if only I'd been wiser. If only I'd loved less dearly. What if I were to tell you that your ability to love deeply isn't your weakness but your superpower? That the same thing you've been taught to think makes you weak could be the source of your greatest strength. Let's stay with this truth for a minute. All expressions of love are dangerous. When you decide to trust, when you let yourself love so completely you're really saying, here's some of my heart, I know you may drop it, but I'm giving it anyway. That kind of vulnerability scares the pants off most people. That's why we put up walls, why we save ourselves. But here's the thing that the Stoics knew and most people don't: the danger is not the vulnerability, the fact that you're willing to risk it is the strength. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the greatest of all Stoic philosophers and most powerful man in Rome, wrote ceaselessly in his personal notebooks of love. To his teachers, to his family, to the universe itself. But here lies the key difference: he loved completely while enjoying what the Stoics referred to as apathy, and not apathy as we understand it today, but independence from being at the mercy of things occurring outside oneself. He knew that we have control over how we love, not the manner in which love is received or reciprocated. Think of your heart as a dark ink-filled lake. If someone throws a betrayal stone or disappointment into the lake, sure, it makes waves. Perhaps even crashing waves against the shore. But the lake doesn't change its essential nature. The disturbance dissipates. The water clears. This is what we call an unbreakable heart, not one that can never be hurt, but one that can get hurt without its essential nature altering. Now let's think about why this matters in life. We all come to love with hidden deals. He'll love you if. He'll trust you when. We give but with strings attached that we can't see. The Stoics would say this is a basic mistake. Giving for real is without expectation of return. Think of sunlight. It doesn't shine hoping the earth will send it back. It shines because that's what it does. Can you start to see how coming to love in this way actually sets you free more? But here's where it gets really interesting. The world we live in now tells us to love less, to trust less, to look out for ourselves. The Stoic answer is completely counterintuitive. It says that we defend ourselves by loving properly, by understanding that another person's failure to maintain your trust doesn't have anything to do with you, but everything to do with them and their value system. This changing of the way we think makes all the difference. Let me give an example. There was a Zen master who was betrayed by his best disciple. When other people got upset, the master would just say, I offered him my trust because that is who I am. What he did with my trust is who he is. That is the message of Stoic love. We give because giving is our worth, not because we know we're going to get a certain return. Now I'm sure some of you are thinking this is pleasant in theory, but how do I actually go about it when I hurt? Here's the working plan. First, when pain arises, stop. Do not react automatically. Second, ask yourself, did I behave as my values wish for me to behave in this circumstance? If you can truthfully say yes, then that is all that requires doing. Third, recall, my capacity for love is mine. No one can take it away from me unless I allow them to do so. Finally, decide to love once more, not stupidly, but with open eyes, but unreduced heart. This has nothing at all to do with being a doormat. Boundaries are still essential. The Stoics weren't promoting irresponsible openness, but they were promoting wise, heroic openness. There is a profound difference between guardedness, which is rooted in fear, and discernment, which is rooted in wisdom. One shrinks your life, the other expands it. So here's the challenge I pose to you for 1 week. Practice offering one small gift of love or trust each day without expectation of reward. Maybe it is as simple as listening to someone deeply without waiting for your turn to talk, or offering genuine compliments without expecting payback. See what happens in your heart when you take the secret contracts out of your giving. Remember this, all great oaks were once weak acorns that never lost faith in growing after the first storm. Your deepest loves, your greatest trust, these are not your weaknesses. They are the seeds of your unbreakable strength. The world needs more courageous lovers, not less. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's one relationship where you've wrestled with this tension between being open and self-protected? What small step can you take this week to more intentionally give? Share your story below. Your voice might be exactly what another person needs to hear today. And if this message spoke to you, pass it on to someone who's ever been criticized for caring too much. Because the reality is, in a world that too often opts for armor over truth, the most revolutionary thing we can do may just be to love greatly anyway. Until next time, remember the unbreakable heart isn't the one that never wounds. It's the one that heals in a way that leaves it more open, not less. Keep shining.